Welcome to Creativity, the podcast where art and engineering collide. In this podcast, we discuss our personal creative endeavors ranging from woodworking to electronics, arts, and life in general. My name is Max Maker, and this is my co-host, Jeremy S. Cook.
Hi, everybody.
We don't have a guest this week, but this is an update about what we've been up to since the last episode, and there's a lot of stuff that's been going on. But next week, we have a really special guest for you.
Yeah, that's right. I got to talk to him on the phone just as kind of practice for the podcast. He wanted to actually talk to me and see what was up, and I got to be honest, I think it's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be one of our best. So
we're not revealing him yet, but we're really excited about him.
Right. So stay tuned for that. For that matter, I mean, as the audience, if it does run long, which I think it will, do you guys prefer us to split it up, or have it like a 2 or 3 hour podcast? What do you guys prefer? We'd love to hear back from you on that.
Yeah, you can comment on Twitter, of course, on either of our channels, or you can write us an email too.
Sure, yeah. I'm at Jeremy S. Cook, and Max is Max_Maker.
Yeah, let us know what you think, and if you have any other feedback, of course, let us know as well, and let's get on with the show. So, Jeremy, I heard you were on a trip this week?
Yeah, my wife and I and the kids, we went to South Carolina. So those of you, do you know where South Carolina is, Max? I know you're in Germany, so I don't want to assume.
Yeah, I think that's like north of Florida.
Yeah, that's right. It's almost in between New York and Florida. So we took the kids, drove 10 hours, got up really early in the morning so I could let them sleep and I could listen to the Creativity podcast, every episode over and over. Oh,
that's a good choice.
Yeah,
good
so
choice.
that kept me awake and entertained the whole way, and I was just ready to go.
What did your wife think?
She, I had earbuds in, so she was sleeping most of the time, and that's the honest truth. I drive, and then my wife, the kids need whatever. She generally tries to calm them down, and then we stop at Chick-fil-A, of course, if it's
nice.
Unless it's a Sunday.
What, is it closed on Sunday?
Yeah, it's closed on Sunday. I would think, if you were looking for a fast food place to work at, you'd think, well, I have every Sunday off, and that, to me, that'd be a nice benefit.
Yeah, of course.
So
it's great for the people. I was just surprised because in America we have this feeling that it's open 24/7, all the places. Because here in Germany they have to close by law. I mean, at least the retailers have to close on Sundays.
Really? Well, that's nice for the people, I'm sure. People go shopping here on Sundays or whatever, and you do feel a little bit bad about it.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, it's better if it's closed on Sunday, I think. Where did you actually go?
Oh, we went to South Carolina, and we went to the Greenville area near Clemson. Actually, my son, we went to the Tigers Stadium. If you're familiar with college football at all, probably not.
Well, I know there's a draft.
Yeah, well, that's right. Well, anyway, college football. Every college here has a football team. Some of them are terrible. Some of them are good. I went to Clemson, and they happen to be number 1 in the nation right now, which is awesome. And when this actually comes out next week, we'll either have defeated Miami or they'll have beaten us. But what we did, we went to the stadium there, which there's nobody there because it's Saturday, not a home game that week. And it's all locked up, right? So we're taking pictures. Max is standing next to the tiger statues, whatever. And all of a sudden this guy comes out and he says, hey, you guys want to take a picture with The Rock, which is like it's a long story. But anyway, basically we were allowed to go inside the stadium. And I was like, I don't know how legal this is exactly, but the guy's like, yeah, come on in. I do the chairs or something like that. I'm like, oh, okay. So we can't come in. It was us and some other people were there with the kids and stuff. So we all walk in there, and we get near the end zone where there's this place called the Hill where the students sit. So we get there, and we hear this automated voices, please vacate the area. And I was like, well, I think this is the automated voice, but we'll see. So then my son he runs down and touches the tiger paw on the field. I guess I shouldn't be confessing this for law enforcement for later evidence. But he's 3 years old, so I don't think they have prison.
I think they can end up in prison in America.
Do they? Well,
from what I've heard.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say I encouraged him to, but I didn't discourage him to. Somebody might have said, give the tiger paw a high five. And so that was kind of fun. And so then we finally, well, we better go before the cops get here. Yeah, right as we were leaving, some cop pulls up and...
Really?
Yeah, and we were... He didn't say anything to us. Just, I was like, I don't know if this guy's going to get fired or what. So... If that guy's fired, I guess there's a chair putter outer guy somewhere and looking for work. So,
That's really mean.
No, I don't. I mean, I'm not demeaning his job. He said,
No, that's really mean that he lost his job because of you. I thought your story was going to that you were going to meet The Rock, the actor.
oh no, The Rock. It's a silly thing. I'm sure they have the same thing in Germany with the soccer teams or, you know, what other things like that. You know, they got this rock they have that's supposed to be. It was brought here from Death Valley or brought there from Death Valley in California. And I don't know, there's some whole story about it, but the players all rub the rock when they come out to play, and that's like their thing, I guess.
I'm really curious about your stadiums. Like, I really want to go to some games, not as for the sport, but just for the experience. Like, I went to some hockey games in Canada. That was really nice. Like, really good food as well. And I've been watching this guy on YouTube recently. His name is Zach Campbell. He's a baseball fan, and he goes to like all the games, and he catches baseballs. And in his whole life, he caught over 10,000 baseballs.
Really? That's incredible.
Like, that's all he does apparently. And he wrote some books about baseball, and he films his his trips to the games, and it's pretty enjoyable somehow. And you guys, you've got pools and stadiums.
I'm sure they do. I haven't ever been to
It's amazing. Like, we would never have anything close to that in Germany. Never.
So do they have college sports in Germany? Is that a thing there? Is that not?
No,
no,
not at all. I think that's unique to America.
Okay, interesting.
Here we've got professional teams, and we've got football, handball.
Wait,
that's about it.
What is handball? What do you?
Handball. It's a little bit like a mix of football and basketball. So you can dribble. You can run with the ball, but you can only make 3 steps.
Oh, that sounds interesting. I think I've seen that in the Olympics. It seemed like there were a bunch of people kind of standing around like a 3-point line, and they were all throwing it at a goal or something. Is that?
Yeah,
it's
a
right?
7 meters line.
Okay.
I think it's 7 meters away. And yeah, you're standing in a circle. It's a great game. It's very it's like basketball pretty much. Like it's similar. Very athletic, lots of running, very fast. Really good to watch.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, next Olympics, I can recommend that.
Okay, I'll have to check that out. I don't quite remember when the next Olympics are, but I'm sure they'll be advertised.
2020 in Tokyo.
Oh wow. So yeah,
it's going to be great, I think.
I won't be there, I don't think, but I'll watch it on TV, I guess.
And of course, is it this year? 2018 in, I think, Kazakhstan, Winter Olympics.
Is it really? Is Borat going to be there?
Probably. They probably have him in the opening ceremony. I would be surprised if they wouldn't.
I was joking, but I mean that'd be amazing if they did. I hope they do.
Yeah, I mean, depends who's doing the ceremony. If the guy's a bit of humor, he would put him in there. Or if it's really stiff, then they won't.
It's funny. Right after that movie came out, I do remember a scene on TV. Every once in a while, you see the commercials for like, "Come visit Kazakhstan," and I'm not kidding. And it wasn't like a joke at all. It was, I guess, just. I mean, I'm sure they did get some some fame from that, even though it wasn't exactly complimentary toward their country.
Oh, I mean, it is. It's a joke. It's fun. It's nothing wrong with it. It's something they can be proud of by now because it's iconic and it's art. So have you made any progress actually?
So the biggest thing I've been working on is my garage. It's been a long project, and I guess I should mention that kind of what we're all about. We do things on YouTube, a lot of things in my garage. I guess yourself too, Max. What's your garage setup look like?
Oh, it's a standard 1-car garage. It's just for my tools at the moment. I try not to put any clutter in there apart from tools. And I've got basic machinery. I've got my CNC that I built. It's pretty big. It's like as big as a short person, basically. And metric wouldn't help here, right? And imperial wouldn't help either. So it's as big as a person, short person.
Nice.
And I've got drill press, some tools, cordless tools, miter saw, table saw, just the basics pretty much.
Nice.
Don't have a lathe, unfortunately. But you've got one, right? I've seen in your latest video.
Yeah, that's right. My latest video, I'm just kind of showing off my garage, which actually sounds extremely similar to yours, except for having a little lathe, which Yeah, it's really nice having a lathe because it's not like you need it all the time, but every once in a while you need it. I almost feel like it's like the I don't know how to put it, almost like the yin and the yang. It's like the milling machine is one part and the lathe is the other part to complete your parts, I guess. So
that's right. You can't go without a lathe. Like, you can substitute for a jigsaw or for a table saw, for a miter saw, but the lathe you can't.
Yeah. And actually, Max, maybe I'll ask you your opinion on this. I have a miter saw, as you do. Is yours a sliding miter saw by any chance?
Yeah, sliding.
Because I've been thinking about upgrading to that, and I think it'd really open up what I can do with mine. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, it's really nice. Like, I use it all the time. I work a lot with long aluminum profiles because I have them from work. So the miter saw is great for that. Like, using the table saw, it's not that great. And the sliding action is good because you can cut bigger boards as well. It's a noticeable difference if you get a good saw blade.
As far as the volume or just the...
Yeah. Volume, quality of cut, it's a huge difference.
Okay. Yeah, I'm almost sold on it. I think I think I'll either get a or maybe a or a right. That's what you prefer.
Yeah, I wouldn't get. I think they're really bad. And I've got what have I got? A which is really good. But I made some mistakes. Like, I cut very small pieces of aluminium, like cubes almost, and one of the cube got caught by the blade. It was just lying around because I had so many of them. I got caught by the blade, smashed into the fence, and the fence is bent.
Oh no!
And it happened like 3 times to me in the lifetime of the saw, and it's really annoying to get straight again. So be careful with that.
It's almost like I want to get a table saw, but to me they just look so dangerous unless you get the dropout mechanism, which those are pretty expensive, so I just haven't gotten one. And they take up a lot of room too.
But I'm surprised you don't have one. It's such a good tool.
You have a table saw?
Yeah.
Okay.
I use it all the time. It's difficult to find one that is true and straight and parallel, but once you've got it, it's great.
Yeah, I guess it's just one of those things. I knew a guy that was missing his thumb from a table saw. So it's a good thing to be respectful of your tools, of course.
They are really scary. They are really dangerous as well. So I always use push sticks, and I never put my hands closer to the blade, any closer than like 10 inches.
Oh, that's good.
I noticed a lot of YouTubers got these saws where the blade retracts if you touch it, and I think they got it for free or sponsorship. I didn't yet, unfortunately, but I hope one day. And I noticed they put their hands much closer to the blade right now because they know it's safer.
That's really interesting. I mean, that's bad that they would. I guess it's human nature that you would do that, but I don't know.
That is with seatbelts. I think when they came up, that they noticed when people have seatbelts, they actually drive faster or more careless. Or if you have a helmet on your bike, you drive more careless because you feel safer.
I can believe that. Or if you have a GoPro camera, you probably drive a lot worse.
Yeah. when I had pilot instructions, like I was not pilot. Gliding, like planes without engines, they wouldn't let us take GoPros into the cockpit because they say if you have a GoPro in there, you fly completely different.
Yeah, I believe that. I used to do quite a bit of mountain biking. Just thinking about it, it's like I never had a GoPro camera when I was doing it, but now that I do have one, I could just see myself getting hurt a lot more than I did before. So
yeah,
that's
I find that so dangerous, mountain biking.
Yeah.
Wouldn't go.
I mean, you always wear a helmet, I guess. And the thing about it is mountain biking, you're always in control of your danger level. It's not like where you ride in the road. You don't know what these cars are doing. They might forget about it or not appreciate other people being on the road or whatever. Mountain biking, everything's your fault, whether for good or bad. Haven't really done it since I've had kids. So that's...
Yeah, it's probably a good idea. I've got a few sports that I wouldn't do. I wouldn't go on a motorcycle. I think it's just so dangerous. I would love to do it, but I told myself, yeah, you're never going to do that, and I won't.
I guess doing mountain biking is kind of a similar activity.
Yeah.
I just remember one time, I went over the handlebars on my bike. I cracked my helmet, and I remember going to the emergency care center to get some stitches. And I just remember sitting down and reading this. They didn't have any good magazines there, but I remember reading this pool maintenance magazine and just thinking it was the most most interesting thing I'd ever read. And I think I had a concussion or something because it was, this isn't a fun magazine. I mean, what? But yeah, they stitched me up and I was good. So actually, the worst thing I've done to myself recently on a mountain bike, you won't even believe this. So I went whitewater rafting with one of my friends who just happens to be a doctor, and so we go rafting, right? And I parked my mountain bike at the bottom of the river, so it's like once we got there, I can just ride back up and get the truck and take our stuff back, right? Well, as it just so happens, I'm all wet and I'm riding my bike back, and I probably looked a little bit weird with a whitewater rafting helmet on, riding up a street and no shirt on, and so then I turn onto the dirt path, end up wiping out and just embedding my arm with these rocks and stuff, and
that's bad.
Yeah, it wasn't much fun. So I get back to my friend. And I'm like, Sean, do you think I need stitches? Because he's actually a doctor. And he's like, oh no, it'll be cool. And so we go back to my house, and he patches me up as best he can with like band-aids and stuff like that, which was cool. And then I see him like a month later. He's like, oh yeah, your arm, you probably did need stitches on that. Your arm looks a little scarred up.
Yeah, blind trust. Because they're wearing a white coat. Here in Germany, we call them the gods in white.
Oh, that's an interesting. I have to remember that for. Maybe I'll tell him.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll move to Germany just to get that kind of recognition. I think he'd like that.
I think they make more money in America.
Well, probably so.
But then doctors here drive Porsches too, so.
Yeah, but Porsches, they pretty much give those away, right? I mean, or they give the.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Disadvantaged
you
people,
get one at birth.
BMWs, and then the people with any sort of job, they get a Mercedes, right? And then the doctors get the Porsches. Is that kind of how that works?
That's right. No, the good people, the cool people, they take the BMWs.
Okay. Yeah.
And Mercedes, I think you have to be a little bit older. I was this summer I was at an event from Mercedes. It was like a golf tournament, and they wouldn't let me drive the GTRS, I think it was like a 300,000 euros car. I have to be 30 at least. So I thought like, okay, if I have to be 30 to drive a Mercedes, I'm not considering it one in the near future.
Well, I would take one myself, but I guess I'm over 30. So actually, I'd probably.
No, you've got kids. You have to look in a different category.
That's true. No, we've got a minivan and we've got an Acura TL that we got before the kids came, which I really like.
You don't have a truck?
I used to have a truck, but once we got kids, I'm like, I'll get rid of the truck, get the minivan. I can haul stuff with that, and that's actually worked out pretty well. So
disappointed now.
What did you think? Think all Americans had trucks? And
yeah.
You'd be about. Most of us do, I guess. Trucks or SUVs. They like that.
What was also amazing is the density of jet skis, and up north, like ski-doos.
Yeah, my father has a jet ski, so I mean,
of course he does.
We're in Florida though, so there's probably more jet skis here than even.
I live at the coast. I don't know anybody that has a jet ski. I don't see any jet skis, but I remember when I was in Florida, every day on the motorway I would see jet skis on the back of trucks.
Oh yeah, we like jet skis. I mean, they're great.
Yeah.
You could ride them yourself. You can tow a skier. You can tow a kneeboarder. You can just have them on the back of your truck so people know you got. Hey, I got a jet ski. Once you I'm going somewhere fun.
I'm actually working on that. This is a good segue, actually. I'm working on a hydrofoil.
Really? So what?
Yeah.
Tell me about that. That sounds incredible.
What is a hydrofoil? Lots of people don't know. It's like a surfboard, and instead of the fin, it has a really long fin, and at the bottom of the fin there's a wing, and it actually generates lift if you go through the water, and it lifts you out of the water, so you're flying more than you're surfing.
Oh, that's right, and it's pulled like a kneeboard or something, right? Is that correct?
Yeah. Originally it was pulled like a kneeboard, and now they use it for kite surfing because once you're out of the water, you've got really low drag because you're not touching the water a lot. It's just the wing that's underwater, and the board is in the air, so it's easier to go in light winds. That's my understanding. But I'm actually going to add an electric motor to it.
Oh, that sounds
really powerful one.
That sounds super dangerous. I know you're You sure you don't want to get a
little bit, yeah.
motorcycle instead? That sounds a little safer.
Actually, I'm gonna put a housing around the blades, but
That's
the
good.
fins themselves, like the wings and the fin that's going down, the mast that goes down to the wing, it's so pointy, and the edge, the front, the leading edge, is so sharp. I'm really worried for my legs if I fall down and fall into the wing. So I'm probably gonna wear protective gears.
Yeah, that's probably smart.
No, I'll be fine. Would just be some bruises, I think, but I hope I won't get fried because I'm using lithium-ion batteries, and everything is the electronics are laid out for 200 amps at 50 volts, so it's quite a lot of power.
So wait, you're gonna power this electrically? It's not gonna be a combustion engine?
No, all electric. I'm aiming for like a 7,000 watt motor.
Oh, that sounds.
I don't have the
sounds
motor
crazy.
yet.
That sounds awesome, man.
It is.
So when do you think you'll be done with that?
Well, I'm right now. I'm designing the board. I'm making the board. I bought a wing because I thought I'll keep the wing. I want to get out. I want to get rid of the parameters that I don't know about. So the wing, I just bought one and I know it works. I'm making the board, and I hope I can fiberglass it soon. Then get the electrics together, and then hopefully test drive in April. Because I don't want to test drive now because the water is like 5 degrees.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Or
probably April's.
Close to freezing in your scale.
So I'm sure you have a wetsuit though, right? Or maybe a dry suit even.
Yeah. I've got a wetsuit, I've got a dry suit, but I'm waiting for April. It's going to take some time. I don't have the motor yet because I hope this one company is going to build one that's more suitable. And they kind of announced that we're going to build one, and I hope they will deliver soon. But I'm working out the electronics. It's lots of stuff to work out anyway.
Oh, nice.
I ordered the batteries, lithium-ion batteries. I stored them outside because they're so huge. I'm scared they would explode inside. Like, if they do explode, would be a big explosion.
Sure. Yeah, it's interesting. Like, when we bought our house, they said, "Are you going to store any like hazardous chemicals and stuff, in your house or whatever?" I'm like, "Well, no more than normal people do with their, 15 gallons of gasoline for each car, and plus the giant propane tank outside or natural gas tank." It's like, well, apparently that's an okay dangerous chemical to have in your house. I don't know where I'm going with that, but it's just it's interesting that all of us keep up, something that could blow up a large area.
They wouldn't let me on the plane with these batteries.
Oh, you tried?
No, I'm sure they would not, because they're already worried about batteries of phones and stuff.
I don't know. That sounds like a really exciting project. So do you have anything now, as far as, like we told the listeners, we're going to be, I guess our big thing is YouTube, right? So do you have anything else that's going to be put out before that you're working on?
Oh yeah, lots of projects I'm working on. The LED light is coming along really well. It's like a desk lamp with carbon fiber, and it's a very minimalistic design, but really powerful. 30 watt LED at I think the equivalent of like 4 60 watt light bulbs. So it's pretty bright.
Now I know you use that type of light on your YouTube videos. Are you going to use that type of light, the new light on that now, or is that going to be just too much for it?
What do you mean, the light?
Well, I mean you use a desk lamp style light in many of your videos to light your garage, correct?
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. No, this is going to be for my desk.
Okay. Well, should do a pretty good job at that, I'm sure.
Yeah, it lights up the whole room, and it needs a lot of cooling. But I'm almost done with that. I think it's going to be a nice project. I tried to move away from these simpler projects because I did some stuff in the past that I had to build anyway, and I made high quality videos, but the project itself is not that amazing, not that interesting, so I try to make more elaborate builds.
Yeah, well, that's a good philosophy. It's always hard to know what to put out. Do you put out this one or this one? I mean, just looking at some of my latest videos, I put out a video of my garage that was made. I mean, that took me a long time to make and a lot of consideration for the editing and stuff. And it hasn't been that successful, but I think it'll be good reference material. But at the same time, some of these things that I just come up with, in a day actually do pretty well. So I don't know. It's always, in your mind, it's like, what's the cost and benefit of each of these actions, I guess, for your time.
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen. I think if the thumbnail is really good, you get many more views, and if you might have an amazing video, but if the thumbnail isn't very good, you don't get that many views.
Yeah, that's probably true. I guess I need to have one with what, like my eyes bugging out. I'm like, oh, amazing. Watch this before you make a terrible mistake or something. Right? Isn't that
Yeah.
what you're supposed to say?
Don't. Yeah. Oh yeah. Watch this
Before alligators
before
eat
you
you.
work on your garage. Yeah.
Before safe. Watch this.
Before you buy a car, you gotta watch this.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
So are you working on some new projects?
Yeah, I'm always working on some new project. I've got actually my son. I'm building him a bed, so I just made a little progress on that. It's kind of laid out now, and
Very nice.
Only thing I have to do is
One of the perks of having kids.
yeah. One of the perks of having kids is you get to build stuff for them. So this will be
Yep.
actually my father built me a bed when I was little, so this is kind of I guess the sequel. I don't know where that bed is now. I guess it's probably in the fire somewhere or in the trash. No, I mean it was a good bed, but it just eventually I'm 6'4", so I guess that's about 2 meters. So eventually that twin bed was just too big for me, sticking with my legs sticking out the bottom. Yeah, so no, that's a good thing I'm working on, and then I've got a electronics project relating to a Wiimote, the Wii nunchucks. If you're familiar with that, I'm trying to make one of those wireless, but I'll, this will be in, I don't know, it'll be a while till it gets done, I guess. Now, what about?
That would be really useful for the hydrofoil, because I need a remote to control the motor, and I've got one of these car RC remotes now, and I'm gonna put that in a plastic bag. But at some point, I want to make a proper one.
Actually, we might have to work something out. We can talk about that at some point. I mean, only thing is, I'd hate to be responsible for you crashing your hydrofoil. So, I guess
It's not that dangerous. It's just that it has sharp corners and sharp edges. So, and the propeller's gonna get a housing. So, I think that will be alright. And I put some safety in there. Like if you fall off, there's a leash that cuts off the motor.
Okay, that's good.
That's what I'm having a bit of a problem with because the battery, 200 amps. Getting a switch for 200 amps is difficult. Getting one that is also waterproof is almost impossible. I haven't found one yet. So I need some kind of 200 amp relay that's going to turn it off. And finding that relay is difficult and expensive too.
Yeah, that's a lot of power. So you're totally set against not using a combustion engine.
Yes, kind of, because the combustion engine, it's heavy, it's noisy, and this thing has the potential to be really silent. And the other thing about the combustion engine, I'm worried that if it gets wet, it might crack because of the temperature differences.
Oh, right. And you got to have some sort of snorkel on it too, unless is it gonna be buried or under the water?
Yeah, at some point if it flips over. Yeah, and with the combustion engine on top, it could top over, so it's top heavy. And the other thing was, then you need a drive shaft that goes down through the foil, through the mast, and then does a 90-degree turn, so I need gears and stuff. And yeah, I wasn't looking forward to that. And turns out the lithium batteries weren't that expensive.
Okay. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing this because I have this picture in my mind, and I feel like, there's just this guy like sitting on a bike seat, propped out of the water. With some
No,
sort
I'm
of
standing.
handle. Oh, you're standing.
I'm standing.
Oh.
Yeah. It's like the Silver Surfer.
Yeah. Okay.
That's it, just on water.
Just on water. Well, that sounds.
Yeah.
That sounds
And with more muscles.
And with more muscles, right? Yeah, that's right. Because in Germany, all of you pretty much look like Arnold Schwarzenegger did in his 30s. Is that correct?
That is very incorrect. And Arnold is from Austria. He's from Austria, right?
Yeah. No, you're right. No, Americans love Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean,
I think he's a good guy.
Yeah, he seems to be. I mean, he didn't seem very nice in Terminator 1.
Yeah, he's very inspirational to everybody. He tries to make people do stuff that they can't, He's motivating people everywhere. Mostly to go pumping. It's funny, there's this picture of him. He's like in a burnt down village somewhere, I think the California fires. And he finds this dumbbell. Obviously, it survived the fire, so he starts pumping in the rubble.
Bodybuilder, actor, and then governor. Really, pretty much.
He's a great guy. We should invite him to the show. If he's listening,
you think he'd come on?
You are invited. Yes.
I think
you will.
Well, I mean, if we couldn't get him, we could get the other governor from Predator and Running Man, Jesse Ventura. I think he might come on. Yes. So I think that's it this week. Max, if people want to find you, where do they find you?
Sure, they could find me on Twitter. My name there is @max_maker_yt, and you can also check out my Instagram. That is max_maker_YouTube. And of course, watch my YouTube channel.
Yeah, of course. And
how about you, Jeremy?
Yeah, same thing with me. My YouTube channel is Jeremy S. Cook, and I'm on Twitter @Jeremy S. Cook. So it's a big difference there, but all Jeremy S. Cook all the time. That's my new tagline, I think. So and as far as that goes, I hope this episode we did it with just me and Max today. Hopefully there's a good intro to what we're all about. We're gonna keep having some great guests on. And again, I'm super excited about the one we have next week. Maybe it'll even be a two-parter. And we just love talking about this stuff.
Definitely. And if you guys have got any topics you would talk about, any question for us, just send us a tweet and we'll answer it next week.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Thank you guys. Bye bye.